Good morning kids. Today we will be starting a new chapter, chapter 7, and the name of the chapter is Handling Pollution and Disaster. So here in page number 53, you can see the picture of deforestation. Deforestation means cutting down of trees on a large scale. Now this deforestation has caused great damage to the environment, and it is one of the factor which increase the air pollution, global warming. Global warming means increase in the temperature of the earth due to the release of carbon dioxide gases and other greenhouse gases. What they do? They trap the heat which is received from the sun and does not allow it to spread into the space, resulting the temperature of the earth becomes very hot. So now how do these trees help in reducing global warming? We know that trees absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere, and we breathe oxygen. It keeps a balance between carbon dioxide and oxygen. Now, the trees also absorb carbon dioxide and store carbon dioxide throughout their life. So, when we cut down the trees, they release large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, and it changes the climate of the earth. Then we also know that the trees absorb smoke, dust particles, pollutant gases like nitrogen oxide, ammonia and other gases, and also absorbs the greenhouse gases. So if we cut down the trees, there would be no clearing of the atmosphere. These pollutant gases and greenhouse gases will be present in the atmosphere, which will result in air pollution. Now the next thing is that cutting down of trees also lead to floods. Now let's see how it is. We know that the roots of the plants and trees holds the soil very firmly, and it reduces these soil erosion and landslide. The roots of the trees also absorb water. So if we cut down the trees, there would be no roots and the soil will not be absorb the water, and during heavy rain this water will be present on the upper layer of the soil, which will result in the flood. So these things shows us that deforestation is a great damage done to the environment. So instead of deforestation, we should plant more and more trees. Now here in page number 53, you can see a question. The question is, tell your elbow partner 2 things that you will do to make your surroundings pollution free and safe from disaster. You have to write the answer in your notebook with proper date and chapter number. Now let's move to page number 54. Here you can see a small flow chart. The heading is types of pollution, under which we have 4 types of pollution, that is air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution and noise pollution. So we will be discussing about these points in this chapter in detail. Now before getting into pollution, let's see what do you understand by environment. The surrounding place where we live, where all the living things live, is known as environment. It includes land, air, water, buildings, hills, mountains, everything. What is pollution? The harmful material which is introduced into the environment and that cause harmful change in air, water, land, which is caused due to human action, is known as pollution. So here you can see the smoke from the vehicles. It is creating air pollution. What do you understand by pollutants? Here you can see the smoke and the waste that causes pollution is known as the pollutants. We have 4 types of pollution, that is air pollution, land pollution, soil pollution and noise pollution. So, we will be discussing them in detail one by one. First, we will see air pollution. So, what is air pollution? When harmful gases, dust, fumes, smokes are introduced into the environment due to various human activities is known as air pollution. So, here in this picture you can see the smoke that is released from the factories, the smoke due to the burning of garbage, the smoke due to the bursting of crackers, and the smoke which is released from various vehicles causes air pollution. Now, another thing is that burning of fossil fuel such as coal or gases. These fossil fuels are formed underground from the remains of animals and plants, and it takes millions of years to form it. So, when we burn these fossil fuel, various types of gases and chemical substances are released into the atmosphere, which results in air pollution. Now, when we breathe these gases, there would be various health problems. The third point is deforestation also leads to air pollution. As we have already discussed that the leaves of the trees absorb all the pollutant gases, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and makes the atmosphere clean for us to breathe. So, if we cut down the trees, there would be no cleanliness of the air. These pollutants will be present in the air. Water pollution. So, here you can see when harmful things such as garbage and waste are released into the water, it causes water pollution. You can see here the garbage, the waste products that is collected from houses, schools, hospitals, markets and various other places are thrown into the river. These all remain as it is. This consists of polythene bags, plastics and cans. These are non-biodegradable. That means they do not decompose, and when they remain as it is on the water, it releases toxic substance that pollute water. This picture shows the waste water that is directed into the water bodies, which is very harmful for the living organism in this water bodies. The consumption of contaminated water leads to many diseases such as jaundice and cholera. When we introduce harmful substances into the soil, it causes soil pollution. So, here in the picture you can see the garbage, waste products that is collected from schools, hospitals and so on are dumped in an area. You can see here lots of plastics, polythene bags, cans are present. These are non-biodegradable. That means they do not decompose and they remain as it is. And it also releases some toxic substance that mix with the soil and reduce the fertility of the soil. Another picture shows the use of fertilizers and pesticide. So, this is also a major cause for soil erosion. The farmers use excessive use of fertilizers. These reduce the soil fertility of the soil. Now, soil pollution can cause skin disease and harm the development of the brain and kidney in humans. Noise pollution. So, what is noise? Noise is an unpleasant sound that disturbs us. If the noise is too much, it disturbs our body and mind. This is known as noise pollution. Here you can see loud music from the loudspeakers, announcement in public area with the help of loudspeaker, then the sounds of bursting of crackers and the sound of horns by the different vehicles. So, these all lead to noise pollution. Noise pollution can lead to sleep disorder and hearing loss. So, this was about the types of pollutions. Now, it is our duty to save earth and to see our health. So, for doing this, we should find some ways to reduce this pollution. So, first one we will see ways to reduce air pollution. Here you can see the burning of garbage and dry leaf. We should avoid doing this because if we do so, it releases toxic gases into the atmosphere and we breathe these air which will create different types of health problems. Next one is regular pollution test of the vehicles. It should be done at regular time to reduce the air pollution. Next one is try to use public transport vehicles like buses, trains, and also introduction of carpool system. It reduces the number of cars on the road. Next one is setting up of factories away from the residential area so that the release of these gases from the factories will be away from the people. Then using of equipments like filter for chimneys, dust collector, bag filters in factories also reduce the air pollution. These equipments collects the dust particles and makes the smoke less harmful and then release it into the atmosphere. Another way to reduce pollution is plant more and more trees. As we have already discussed that these trees absorb the pollutant particles and greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and make the temperature cool and clean air. So, this was about the ways to reduce air pollution. Now, we will discuss ways to reduce water pollution. Now, this picture, what do you understand from this? That we should not throw garbage or waste into the water bodies. You can see that there are lots of plastics, polythene bags, cans which are non-biodegradable and they remain as it is. They release lots of toxic substance into the water bodies and it is very harmful for the living organism in it. And it is also very harmful if we drink this water. We should also avoid washing clothes, cleaning utensils and bathing in the water bodies because the soaps and detergents which we use contains chemical substance and it get into the water and it create water pollution. Next one is the waste water which are directed into the water bodies from the factories. It should be avoided. As you can see, this picture shows the toxic substance that is released from the copper mine factories. As you can see, it looks very dangerous and it harms the living organism living in these water bodies. And imagine if we consume this water, what would happen to us? Now, the next picture shows the oil spilling from the ships, which pollute the oceans and sea. So, this should be avoided. These were some points to reduce the water pollution. Now, we will see some ways to reduce land pollution. We should plant more and more trees because the roots of the trees hold the soil very firmly and prevents soil erosion and landslide. Next one, we should not throw or scatter garbage here and there. We should have a proper dustbin or container to collect this garbage. We can also use dustbins for dry and wet waste. Next point is avoid using polythene bags. We know that this is non-biodegradable substance which remains in the atmosphere as it is. It does not decompose. Next one is the most important, we should follow the 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse and recycle. We should reduce the use of products that are made from trees. So, when we reduce our usage, less trees will be cut down. Next point is we should recycle things like books, papers, cardboards, so on, and we should reuse them. Then the next one is using natural fertilizers in agriculture operations. Instead of using chemical substances, we can use natural fertilizers. This natural fertilizers consist of manures, that is animal excreta, and compost, that is vegetable matters and crop residues. So, we can use these substances to increase the fertility of the soil. Now, let us discuss the ways to reduce noise pollution. Unnecessary using of horns should be avoided. Loudspeakers should not be used in public areas. It should not be used between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Bursting of crackers should be avoided because it results in air pollution plus noise pollution. Then the factories should be set up away from the residential areas, and the machines which we use in these factories should be soundproof. Now, there is an activity for you. You have to name a project associated with the cleaning of a major river in India. How do such projects help in reducing water pollution? You have to write the answer and then submit in the Microsoft Teams. That's all for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.